Let's go ahead and start adding the text elements to the top of this module. And we're not going to be that exact when we lay down the text because if we're laying out a guide for every single element, this could take all day. And I wanted to move a little bit quicker. So we're going to just guess with that, but we do need to do some guides as far as getting the lines correct. So we're going to go ahead and create a new guide again. And I want to do 454 pixels and make sure that this is a horizontal. This is just going to give us where our first line will go to separate some of the content. And then other than that, we're going to do two guides here on the left and right to show how far the line needs to go or the space that needs to be between, the line and the edge of this box. So we are going to give that just a space of 48 pixels. So I want to do window new guide and do 48 pixels. And we're going to do this as a vertical this time. And really quickly, and we're going to do one more guide, and let's give this 1194 pixels, which is the opposite, or would be our entire canvas size minus 48 pixels. So we'll do 1194 pixels, and that will give us that. And there we can draw our line now, and this is actually just a 1 pixel line. And it's going to be a yellow line. So I'm going to zoom all the way in here and make sure that my line is touching. So let's go to the line tool. And I'm going to open up the reference really quickly. Yep, so our line's going to go right below this, and it's just going to be a 1 pixel line. So let's hide that. And let's just make sure that we have our weight set to 1 pixel. And that the fill color, if you come over to the select, mine's already on the color, but we need it to be FFF4FCB. So I'll type that out with you, FFFCB. And we have this light yellow color that we're going to be using. And I'm going to hide that. And let's just draw this just below our guides. And if it's above, don't worry, because you can just drag it below after. And I'm just going to drag this to the right. Whoops. Went a bit far. And make sure that it's touching the right edge of this guide. And there we go. Now I just need to drag it 1 pixel down so that it's below the guide, and I can do that quite easily. And there we go. So we have the yellow line in place. Now we can go ahead and add some text. So let's just grab our text tool and start laying text down. And I'm just going to drag this out and make sure the color's white, which it is. And let's just type in flights climbed. And I'm going to drag this a little bit wider so we can see it. Okay, and the size, make sure your size is 55 pixels, and this is going to be Helvetica, and I have it in the light form, which is fine, and we're going to keep it, yep, the spacing's right, so that looks about right. We're also going to add, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see. Okay, so we have flight climb. Now below this, we're going to have something, it's going to say daily average and then 11. We can look at our reference really quickly. Yep, so I'm just going to make sure that's down and to the left just a smidge. Okay, and let's go ahead and add the text to the right of this, sorry. And instead of creating new text layers, I like to duplicate, and I do this for one reason. If I duplicate flights climbed and then drag this to the right, I can just hold shift, and then I know that this is going to be exactly even as far as, vertical, as far as it goes vertically. So instead of having to guess, I know that it's the exact same because I'm dragging holding shift, which means it's not going to go up and down at all. And I'm just going to write 3 here. Okay, and it's going to say 3 floors, but they're going to be different fonts. So I'm going to type 3 and then lowercase floors. But we need to change the size of this. And we're just going to make the floors 45 pixels instead of 55 pixels. So change that to 3 floors. That looks good. And I'm just going to drag this to the right. And right around there. That looks good. Now we need to create another text layer below the flights climbed. And I'm just going to drag this out. And I'm going to say daily average. And then do a colon. And then we're going to do 11. Which is absolutely pathetic on my part. And we're going to change this size down to 30 pixels, but we're going to keep all the other settings. And then we're going to change the color to that same yellow color that we used earlier. So if we grab the foreground, just copy this color. I'm going to come back up top, and you'll notice that it's already up there, but you can go ahead and copy that in, and then we have that yellow color here now. And I'm just going to drag this up so it's directly under the flights climbed. I want to look at my reference real quick, see if that needs to be down just a tad. Okay, that looks good to me. And let's go ahead and duplicate this layer, Control or Command J, and let's drag it over. And you guys know why I like to do that. And let's go ahead and change this text so it says today. All right, and I'm just going to drag this over so you know, it's even with the floors. Perfect. Oops. And for some reason it seems to be moving on me, so I'm just going to make sure get this where I want it. And I'm going to duplicate this today one more time, Control Command J, and we're just going to drag this down right below the blue line. And we're going to add a, I'm sorry, it keeps moving on me. It's probably my unsteady hands today. And let's just change this to 22. And I'm going to select the move tool and drag this to the right and make sure it is right along the right edge as well. So let's grab all these layers that we just created all the way down to shape 1, which is our line, and let's just rename this yellow line so we know exactly what it is. And we're going to grab all of this and make sure that you're holding select from the bottom to the top, and let's just make a new group out of this so we get a bit more organized. Now we'll call this group flight. We'll call it flights climbed top content. Get descriptive with it so you know exactly what you're talking about, and that's fine. You will notice that none of those actually went in there. That's okay. I'm just going to grab 22 and then go down to the yellow line and hit shift and make sure that those are actually dragged into this folder. There we go. If we hide the folder, it all disappears. And I'm going to make sure that I drag this down into the main content just above the module. There we go. So now if I close main content, we're a bit more organized. We have it sectioned off into our top area and our main content for now. So let's continue moving on and finishing this up.